We are inching ever closer to the playoffs, and oh man, the matchups are something else. And on
Mhm.
top of that, there are some new head coach vacancy updates, some big names out. We're going to cover that. And on top of that, the all pro list has been revealed. So it's an exciting time to be a football fan. We're going to cover all of that right here on the Fumblerooski podcast.
Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football, and they're saying it's a catch. This is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Swings it way down the field to Watkins! Sammy Watkins for the touchdown!
Good evening. This is the Fumblerooski podcast brought to you by Power 88 Dean Radio and Secret Web Consulting. I am your host, CJ Medeiros. With me is my good friend and co-host and one of the happiest Ravens fans right now, Justin Tucker.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Number one seed, first round bye. Don't have to worry about the wild card round. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. You know, I used to be in those shoes as a Pats fan, but that's neither here nor there. So, we are going to break down these playoff matchups. We will deliver you some updates on the head coaching vacancies and a position that was filled. But first, we're going to tackle the NFL All-Pro list. So, like I said, it's an exciting time to be a football fan. The All-Pro list has been revealed as usual. So, and Tuck, you're a happy camper, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because some of his Ravens have made it on there.
What?
So
Us? Can it be on not just one, but three on the first team All Pro?
3 Ravens on the first team All Pro. How do you like that?
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. So this is the All Pro first team. Ready? NFLPA players, All Pro first team. At quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Justin, what do you think about that?
I mean, what am I supposed to think about that? I mean, it was obvious he was going to get it, and quite honestly, I'm happy for him. He's deserving of the award. It's yes, very much deserved, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going.
Nice. All right. And for our running back, we get, well, this is really no surprise, Christian McCaffrey of the San Francisco 49ers.
No shock, well deserved.
Yeah, arguably in the MVP race as far as non-players go, but non-quarterbacks go, but non-quarterbacks never win because this is the NFL.
Yeah.
And for fullback, I feel like this is one, even though he's not on the Ravens anymore, you should be happy about Kyle Juszczyk.
I will always be happy when he makes the list.
Yeah.
He former Raven, now a 49er. I'm happy for him. Congratulations, Kyle.
And at wide receiver with, well, no surprise, Tyreek Hill, and 2, CeeDee Lamb.
He had a good year this year. He's been Dak's go-to guy, and he's been proven it, deserving of it.
Tight end, Taylor Swift's side piece this week, Travis Kelce.
Really? I don't know why. I just felt like no tight end popped out to didn't be deserving of first team All-Pro.
Yeah. We all know tight end's a very top-heavy position, but Travis Kelce had a bit of a down year. Now, not to brag, but I do believe I predicted that. Because like I said, when Mahomes has nobody to throw to, everyone's just going to double-team Kelce all they want. Not saying Kelce had a bad year, but this is based on name value alone.
Yeah, it's not the same as it was.
And, of course, the offensive line. From the San Francisco 49ers, big Trent Williams, because, best tackle in the game. Left guard, Joel Bitonio of the Cleveland Browns.
Congrats.
Center, the other Kelsey, Jason Kelsey of the Philadelphia Eagles. At right guard, from the Dallas Cowboys, Zach Martin, arguably one of, if not the best guard in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And right tackle, Lane Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles. That's fair. What do you think? I mean, I really don't have any major qualms with this list. I mean, tight end could be a little iffy, solely because, no one was really that spectacular. Although I do want to tip my hat to George Kittle, who did put up 65 catches, broke 1,000 yards, and had 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think he had I wouldn't say bounce back year, but I think he's playing better now than he has in quite some time.
Yeah, now that he's not injured, it's really nice. And I'm not saying give him first team All Pro, but the rookie from the Lions, tight end Sam Laporta, 86 catches, 889 yards, and 10 tutties, as the kids say.
That's a pretty good year for a tight end.
And I expect him only to get better.
If he recovers from that injury.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, edge rushers, Myles Garrett and Max Crosby from the Browns and Raiders, respectively.
No TJ Watt?
No TJ Watt, Justin.
Like he didn't make the list?
He did not make first team All Pro, no. Huh.
That's a gripe. Even though I hate the Steelers.
I feel like Tuck and I are united in our dislike of the Steelers. But TJ Watt,
19
TJ
sacks.
Watt, who had 19 sacks, and correct me if I'm wrong, led the league?
Yes, he led the league in 3 different seasons in sacks. He's the only person to do it outside of JJ Watt. His brother.
Yeah, hey, I don't know what's in the water at the Watt household, but give me some of that.
I need some of that because it's ridiculous. How does he have 19 sacks and not make first team? All right.
I don't know. I don't know. So they did a nose tackle and 2 interior defensive linemen. So they gave us, from the New York Giants, Dexter Lawrence, who's sneakily underrated, but he's pretty good. To nobody's surprise, Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs and Aaron Donald of the LA Rams.
I have to accept this, but I really wanted Justin Medeiros to make it. He deserved it this year, in my eyes. 13 sacks is hard to do from the defensive tackles.
I don't know, man. Chris Jones just on a whole nother level this year.
Yeah, because Chris Jones is looking to get paid just like Justin Medeiros. But damn, I was hoping he was going to make first team All Pro. But oh well, I'll settle for second team.
Yeah, he did make second team All Pro. And for off-ball linebackers, we were given 2. From the Baltimore Ravens, Roquan Smith, and to no one's surprise from the San Francisco 49ers, Fred Warner.
Much deserved.
Justin, wow, you are just a really happy camper.
Yeah, Roquan Smith deserved to be a first-team All-Pro this year. No surprise that Fred Warner would be there with him. They both had amazing seasons. I'm not shocked by this.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. You got a 3 Ravens first-team All-Pro. Doesn't get much better than that. And for corners, Deron Bland of the Dallas Cowboys and Pat Surtain of the Denver Broncos.
I understand why they got where they got. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, Bland has what we call Trayvon Diggs syndrome, where he racks up interceptions, but that's just because teams aren't afraid of him. Because, he gives up, he hemorrhages yards and he gives up touchdowns. But he did break the pick 6 record, so there's something to be said for that, yeah?
He'll give you some, but he'll take some too.
Yeah.
So, but Patrick Surtain's a good one. So I don't have a problem with him being on here, but his team is probably what's making his value go down to me.
Yeah. Then, of course, at safety, we got Jesse Bates, the third
Well deserved. He had an amazing
Yep.
year for Atlanta, even though they
Yep,
just
for
fell short
Atlanta.
of the playoffs.
And strong safety, Baltimore Ravens, Kyle Hamilton.
I mean, this one should have been unanimous in my eyes. There's not a better strong safety in the league.
Yeah.
Unless you count Antoine Winfield as a strong safety.
It varies day to day.
I
But
don't.
the NFL Players Association was also kind enough to bless us with special teams as well.
Yeah.
The kicker, Brandon Aubrey of the Dallas Cowboys. And though Tuck and I probably aren't the biggest Cowboys fans you'll ever meet,
Nope.
I do have to give Brandon Aubrey his props. My
Had a great year
man
this year.
was 36 of 38 when it came to field goals.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the NFL's leading scorer. And he made like 94% of his extra points or something. And he kicked a 60-yarder.
Yep.
So, well deserved, I would say.
Congrats. He deserved it. I wouldn't. Any other year, it's Justin Tucker, but this year, Tuck had a bad year, so can't really argue about it.
Yep. And for returners, our kick returner is Green Bay's Keyshawn Nixon, and our punt returners is Darius Davis from the LA Chargers. And our core special teamer, according once again to the NFLPA.com, because this is their all-pro team, their core special teamer was Jalen Reeves-Maben of Detroit and long snapper Ross Matisic, I think that's how it's pronounced, of Jacksonville. And before we move on, I do want to mention how there were ties today.
Okay.
There was a tie, actually, at left guard. It was given to Bitonio, but a tie was made with Tyler Smith of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, he's been a beast on a roll this year.
Yeah.
I've seen some of his clips. Oh, he's a finisher for real.
Yeah. And also there was another core special teamer. It was Brendan Schooler of the New England Patriots. Hey, kids, we got an all-pro.
An all-pro not, at least.
Yeah. It's like just don't ask what position. So, Justin, what are your big takeaways? And if you want, you could talk about the other Ravens that made second team.
TJ Watt not being on first team bothers me a little bit, even though he is a Steelers and F him. But him not being on the list is shocking to me, even though I do think Myles Garrett and Max Crosby are deserved. I thought Medeiros should have been first team All-Pro, but I understand the people that are in front of him. His time will come. And for the most part, I have no problems with the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. So, all in all, not a bad list this year. It's actually a pretty darn good list.
Yeah. There's always some controversy, but this year was pretty good. But Steelers fan or not, I do have a hard time looking past the TJ Watt NFL sack leader omission.
I can't look past it either. He has 19 sacks, and you guys just look past it as if it doesn't exist. How do you do that? Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah, I feel like there should be at least a rule that says if you lead in a major statistical category, like passing yards, passing touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, receiving touchdowns, like you gotta make the All-Pro, at least in some capacity, first or second.
I wouldn't say that, because that's like saying James Conner that one year he led the league in touchdowns was a first-team All-Pro, but he wasn't better than Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, then he could have made second team.
With only one running back?
Perhaps. I don't remember off the top of my head, so maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there, but imagine if I was.
The problem with just saying a certain stat should automatically give you All-Pro is if a person has those stats and you look at the list and like they have the stats, they should be an All-Pro. It's like he doesn't fit, I guess. For an example, TJ Watt, sure, if he had 19 sacks, but if he's not getting doubled and he's not a major player, it doesn't mean anything. He's just collecting.
Well, that's not his fault if he's not getting doubled, but whatever. We'll agree to disagree. You do have a solid point, I will tell you. But we are going to have to move on. Now, before we jump into these playoff matchups, we do have some more news. Well, there are more head coaching vacancies from when last we spoke.
Mhm.
And believe you me, there are some big ones. And if you want to find out, don't go away. Tune back in next to the Fumblerooski podcast.
Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football. They're saying it's a catch. This is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Swings it way down the field to Watkins. Sammy Watkins for the touchdown!
Welcome back to the Fumblerooski podcast, brought to you by Power 88 Radio and Secret Weapon Consulting. I am your host, CJ Medeiros. With me is my good friend and co-host, Justin Tucker. And before we kick off here with our head coach vacancies, I want to point out how there is a discrepancy here about all pros. How this was the NFL Players Association All Pro. The AP All Pro, the Associated Press, is quite different. This one does have TJ Watt making the list, righting the Players Association wrongs.
All right.
It also includes Quincy Williams and Sauce Gardner of the New York Jets, Trent McDuffie of the Chiefs, and Antoine Winfield.
Over who?
Winfield, no, not over Hamilton. Don't worry, over Bates.
Okay.
All
right.
We were about to have World War III there for a second, but
Okay.
yeah, you can breathe, man. It's all good.
And
also, the AP first team offense features George Kittle over Travis Kelce, and it includes a third receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay, and who did they replace?
It replaced the other running back. I actually don't know who it replaced. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do the math in my head, but I don't have the other one in front of me. So yeah, people, apparently there's two all pros, just, one for the Players Association, one for the AP. Nobody really knows why.
Because they have very different opinions on how it should be.
Yeah. Anyway, the AP all pro, I'm just going to blaze through this. All right. First team offense, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Joe Thuney, Jason Kelce, Zach Martin, and Penei Sewell.
Joe Thuney?
Yeah. First team defense, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, Quincy Williams, Deron Bland, Sauce Gardner, Trent McDuffie, Kyle Hamilton, and Antoine Winfield. Special teams, Brandon Aubrey, AJ Cole, punter, punt returner, Rashid Shaheed, kick returner, Keyshawn Nixon, special teamer, Miles Kilbrew, and long snapper, still Matisic from Jacksonville.
All right.
Why? Why? No. Why? Why is there such a difference? But you know what? We'll just call that the official one, and we will just keep chugging along.
I don't have a problem with that for the most part.
Now, that one is much more acceptable to me, but that's neither here nor there. The head coach vacancies. In the words of the immortal Billy Mays, but wait, there's more. Well, there's no beating around the bush here, kids. The Seattle Seahawks have moved on from head coach Pete Carroll. Not quite a firing, but they told them they wanted to go in a different direction. But he will be brought back as a front office. He'll still have some role with the team. He just won't be the head coach. I don't really know what it is he'll be doing, but he will be back. But that's small potatoes compared to the fact that the Patriots mutually part ways with legendary head coach and future Hall of Fame head coach Bill Belichick.
Billard Belichick.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. This is the first time since I was born that the Patriots will not have either Bill Belichick or Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unironically, like, how do you do that?
I can't believe. First off, congratulations to Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick on an amazing coaching career, respectively. Number two, it's about time for them to collect their AARP checks. There we go.
Tap dancing.
About time. I'm happy for Bill to finally retire and set off into the sunset.
He's not retiring, Justin. He wants to keep coaching.
We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. Until he says otherwise, I can put it out there. Pete Carroll, I know you're done coaching at least, so congratulations on you, and I hope the best of luck for you for whatever you do in the future with the Seahawks. But as far as Bill, I see a lot of opportunities for Bill. A lot of.
Oh yeah. If also apparently there are teams that if they disappoint in the playoffs, I have heard the Dallas Cowboys and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, among others, mentioned by name, that if they disappoint in the playoffs, they are gonna do whatever and just hire Bill. I've also heard the Falcons want him. So yeah, there's some cogs that have yet to turn. However, so by the way, do the math from like the people we added who we said were fired last time to these.
Yeah.
That's 8 NFL teams. A quarter of the league
Gone.
need a head coach. But or should I say there were 8. Now there's 7 because as of this morning the Patriots promoted linebackers coach, well really the de facto defensive coordinator Gerard Mayo
Yep.
to head coach. Justin, how are you feeling about this?
Honestly, I'm surprised, but I understand why they went with this pick. He's been a part of the organization for quite some time. He understands how it works. The players love him. They want to do right by him, and he has camaraderie with up top. So all in all, they understand him. He understands the front office. They can work together, and they don't have to look elsewhere to find the head coach of the future. So good job.
Yeah. Apparently, Mayo was a guy that the players can really rally around, and that's one of the reasons why they went with him. The players wanted him. You know, he's already known within the organization, and allegedly, it was written into his contract that they would that he would be their next head coach. So that solves that.
Yeah.
And Mayo, they say, has a lack of experience, but Kraft wasn't going to hire him if he wasn't, if he didn't have a plan. And apparently that was one of the things that a new head coach would have to convince Robert Kraft that he had and lay out like a plan for offense. Now, the Patriots still need a GM. As you know, Bill Belichick manned both sides. So we will wait and see.
Oh, wait.
So there's now 7 spots. 7. That's almost a quarter of the league that needs at least a new head coach. So obviously, like I said, Patriots, nope, that's done. They've hired Gerard Mayo, and I see it as high risk, but really high reward.
It could be. It's either a hit or miss. I feel the same way about the Raiders because I feel like they're going to hire Antonio Pierce because I think
I don't know. I've heard that they're gunning for Jim Harbaugh out of Michigan.
They better not.
Exactly. They better not. And I said this last episode, but continue. I'm sorry. I'm just glad you agree.
It's nothing against Jim. I feel more so the fact that Antonio Pierce has like the locker room right now, and they want to play for him. So if you just give him an off season with the mindset that he has and the leadership that he brings to the table, he was inexperienced last year, but coming into this year, now that he has that experience, I think he'll build upon that. So let's not cut him loose. Let's keep him. Let's keep him as the head coach and keep the players happy that they actually have a head coach that they like instead of somebody that they don't, like Josh McDaniels. I don't understand why you're bringing in somebody new when they already have someone there. So I hope they don't. But outside of that, it's pretty wide open. I think.
By the way, Justin.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off, but I believe it's worth noting that arguably the best player on the Ravens, Max Crosby, tweeted out #hire AP. Or that Yeah, so obviously that's their coach, I would
Yeah,
assume, right?
I assume so. They better keep him as the head coach. But
Hmm.
just because a player tweets something out doesn't mean they'll
Yeah,
respect it.
I know. This is the NFL, but I mean, best player on your team, and apparently the locker room likes him too. And I said this
Mhm.
last episode, it would be the most Raiders thing
It would.
to just chuck him off.
It's totally within their DNA to just do that. I hope they don't for their sake, but only time will tell. I think the next most appealing is the Chargers, but I gotta ask myself, with all that talent, how did Coach Staley not be able to make it work? And I don't understand why they couldn't make the playoffs. I
Because
understand injuries, but at the
Mhm.
same time, they were in some of these games. They could have won some of these games,
Yeah,
but they just
they
didn't.
really were.
And also, Quentin Johnston is not working out for he.
By the way, I said at the time I wasn't a fan of him, but this is why.
His
N-
hands.
It he's a literal. I'm not going to get into it,
Yeah, this is about
but
the my players. Well,
Mhm.
I see a lot of opportunity. The worst one, I believe, in my eyes, is Carolina right
Oh,
now.
absolutely. I mean, you do have some decent cap space. You've got a good young quarterback to work with. But I have two words that should
Right
scare
now,
away any potential head coach.
David Tepper.
David Tepper. Yep, Tuck knows. Tuck knows.
He is
Yeah.
egregious as an owner, and it's
Who
ridiculous.
who wants this man child breathing down your neck as a head coach and GM? He's forced all these trades. He just can't let the organization be. And the thing is, if he was just a little more laissez-faire, then it would be more tolerable. But
Mhm.
as long as Tepper wants to keep his eye and fist on football operations, I would, if I were a coach, I would back out.
Yeah, but again, sooner or later, a coach is going to take that because it's a head coaching
I
job.
mean, you would kind of have to, I'd think. You can't
You
go
don't have
without a
to.
coach.
You don't have to. You can
No,
just
you
say,
don't have to, but the Panthers have to. I mean, you can't operate without a head coach, I don't think.
yeah,
Unless you could, I don't know. Never been a
no,
head
they
coach, I don't
could.
know.
They could have a placeholder head coach, like move the OC up to head coach, but they won't do that. They'll find someone eventually, but right now, I don't see it being very appealing. With all this being said, however, I'm gonna make this very clear to the rest of the league. Mike Mike McDonald is not available. Todd Monken is not available for the foreseeable future. Thank you, and we appreciate your lurkingness towards their future. They're not available. They won't be available for quite some time. Stop asking about us. We're good over here. All right, we're good. We just have to.
Yeah. This is how us Patriots fans were forever because all of our coordinators would get poached.
Mhm.
Hey, Tuck, it's the price you pay when you're good.
Yep.
But if you do want a former Ravens personnel, a personnel individual there, I'm blanking on the word. Wink Martindale is available.
He is.
Only the most difficult human being to work with, who's blitz happy because it's trying to hide the fact how awful his rushing schemes are.
I don't think he's the worst person to deal with. I think in our situation, he just didn't want to have to deal with Greg Roman's offense. So I understand it.
All right, then how does that explain why allegedly he cursed out Brian Dable before resigning?
That's the New York Giants situation. That's not the
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens.
Maybe, just maybe, he's a wee bit of what we call a character.
Yeah, but again, Rex Ryan was a character. Didn't stop him from being the head coach.
And how'd that work out for him? Where is he now? He's on TV spouting out his ill-informed opinion.
That still doesn't take away from going to two AFC Championship games. No, he didn't win them because
Laughs and
the
butt
quarterback
fumble.
play, the quarterback play was to be desired. But again, we move on.
All right. Speaking of moving on, before we move on, I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Where does Jim Harbaugh end up? Because at this point in time, it's looking basically like he's going to the NFL. He hired an NFL agent in Don Yee. Like the Chargers and Raiders are gunning for him hard. Where will he go?
He's done everything he can for the Big Ten in college football. He's won a national championship now, the elusive title that's eluded him for years. He has nothing else to prove to college football. He can move up to I think he's going to move up to the NFL, and I think it's going to be with the Chargers. Me personally, I just think that's the best place for him. I'm saying this based on him not going to the Raiders because I don't think they'll piss off the locker room that much. If they want to keep the locker room happy, they'll keep Antonio Pierce because they really want him as the head coach. But all in all, I really, at the end of the day, I do think it's the Chargers that gets him out of everyone.
Yeah, and I just want to say I agree. Where does Bill Belichick go? Now that, kids, that is the $1 million question. And if I may, I do not believe he will go to the Chargers because I think that's Harbaugh's to lose, frankly. I don't think he's going to go to the Raiders because Brady's a minority owner, and I don't think he wants Tom Brady to be his boss. So that would leave the also, I don't see Bill going to the Panthers because I don't think he and Tepper would mesh. Actually, it's not that I think this. I know they won't.
They won't get along.
Yep. So that would leave the Titans, Seahawks, Falcons, and Commanders. Or perhaps there's a mystery third team who will peter out of the playoffs, fire their current head coach, and hire Bill. What do you think?
You know what? I might be crazy here.
All right.
If the Bills lose to the Steelers in the first round, do you think they can make that call to Bill? Because they've been with Sean McDermott since 2017.
Well, there's a few angles to that. Now, I believe that you and I are of a similar mind that Sean McDermott is overrated.
He's had opportunity after opportunity, and they've just been squandered. I believe by now
exactly. It's getting stale.
I believe he should have been to a Super Bowl at least one time. But at this
13 seconds, that is all.
Yes. 13 seconds. You really let them just move the ball down the field like that? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, but all in all, if he does lose in the first round against the Steelers, I do have to ask the question. Yeah, I think it might be time for you to go. You better give me a good reason.
I agree, and I actually think his seat might be getting, even though they're the 2 seed, I did think at one point his seat was getting a smidgen warm. However, I also don't think Bill would go to Buffalo because, just out of respect to Kraft and the organization, I highly doubt it. But that is just me.
All right, and so maybe not.
I have heard, though, that the Falcons desperately want Belichick, and if they draft a quarterback, my man, they are sitting pretty because that's a good team.
Right
9. But
they could trade up for a quarterback, but who would trade up?
I don't know.
Maybe
we'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
But no,
I don't know if they'd be willing to trade back that far if they want Marvin Harrison, but that's a storyline for another day. Well, folks, we are going to move on to playoff matchups. Tuck and I are going to make our predictions, break down the matchups, and see if we can get it right, and maybe, just maybe, try not to be biased. So I know you're not going to want to miss that. Tuck, I can't promise it either. So don't go anywhere. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football. They're saying it's a catch. This is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Swings it way down the field to Watkins. Sammy Watkins for the touchdown!
Welcome back to the Fumblerooski podcast, powered by Power 88 Dean Radio and, of course, Secret Weapon Consulting. Once again, I am CJ Medeiros, and also once again, with me is my good friend, Justin Tucker. Justin, the playoffs are here. And
Yes,
I
they
said
are.
it last episode. I'll say it again. In the words of the immortal Jim Mora, playoffs
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
never gets old.
Mhm.
So here we go, kids.
Mhm.
We're going to break it down by time slate. And, well, we're going to try to predict it. We're going to try to get it right. And like I said, we're going to try to be unbiased, but not definitely. So, kicking us off, Saturday, that's tomorrow, at 4:30 p.m., we have the Houston Texans hosting the Cleveland Browns. Justin, what do you make of this matchup, and what's your pick?
This is a very interesting matchup. CJ Stroud has turned this team around within 1 year. CJ Stroud has been playing phenomenal football for this team. Nico Collins has been playing out of his mind. Coach D'Amico Ryans has been an amazing head coach for them this year. My hat goes off to him, and he's he actually is a coach of the year candidate. Who am I kidding? That defense has been playing good. All in all, I like the Houston Texans going forward in the future. With that being said, I can't. It disgusts me. I have to go this way. It hurts, but I really do think that Cleveland might edge them out of this one. I hope I'm wrong, but I do think Cleveland wins this matchup. Joe Flacco is playing out of his mind. He's playing amazing football despite the interceptions. If you just look at despite the interceptions, he looks elite. And no one was saying this about him last year. All of a sudden, he gets with the Browns, with the weapons that they have and the offensive line that he has, and he looks like Baltimore Ravens Joe Flacco. All in all, that defense is amazing. Myles Garrett keeps finding ways to get to the quarterback. That secondary is underrated in my eyes. That linebacking core has some speed with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. All in all, I see this as one of the more complete teams in the NFL, which infuriates me. And I believe that they will beat the Houston Texans. I think it'll be fairly close because I believe that CJ Stroud will keep it close, but I think that in the end, Cleveland pulls it away.
Now, see here. The Texans and Browns have already played. However, that was without CJ Stroud.
Yep.
But now he's here, and he's an offensive rookie of the year candidate as well. D'Amico Ryans has been a great coach, and they didn't really have that many weapons. But CJ Stroud said, who needs weapons, and continued to just do his own thing anyway.
Yep.
And then there's the Browns. I recapped this, I think, last episode. The injury bug didn't just hit them. The injury bug ran them over with a Ford F-150. You know, you lost both your starting tackles, your all-pro running back. You lost some secondary linemen as well. You lost Deshaun Watson, for better or worse. And you also had to play XFL legend PJ Walker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 5th-round rookie quarterback out of UCLA. And then all of a sudden, a blast from the past with Joe Flacco himself, who turned back the clock. It isn't even Joey checkdowns anymore. This man is slinging the rock like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
And that defense, best unit in the league. And if not that, then top 3. That being said, I think that the Texans are a bit too young, although I wouldn't be shocked if they win. I'm leaning toward the Browns. Give me the Browns. And if I had to guess a score, it would probably be somewhere in the ballpark of like 24-17 or like 27-20. I think they win by a score.
Fair enough. More so 27-24 Browns, but I hope they don't win.
Oh, what? You don't like Flacco anymore?
I don't like Cleveland. I don't like Cleveland. I don't want Cleveland to win, but I'm picking them to win because I believe they'll win out in spite of it.
If Cleveland somehow wins a Super Bowl, how
I'm
would you
going.
feel? Put Joe Flacco.
Man, I'm going to be fighting demons. Oh, that can't happen. We won't allow that to happen. They have to go through us for that to happen. No, absolutely not.
I would love a Browns-Ravens AFC Championship. I really would.
Oh my. That means either the Dolphins or the Steelers would have to get through. Let it be the Dolphins. Let it be the Dolphins.
Either way. So,
Let it be
speaking
all.
of which, next game, this is Saturday at 8 p.m. The Miami Dolphins are going to mosey over to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Tuck, but again, I shall ask, what is your take and who's your pick?
Tyreek Hill returns to Kansas City. Oh my. This is going to be one of the good ones. The storylines in this matchup is going to be good. Andy Reid versus McDaniels, coaching, the offensive side of the ball. Mahomes versus Tua, Tyreek Hill versus Kelsey, that offense versus that defense. Either or. I just believe this is going to be a high-scoring game. That depends. If Jalen Waddle is playing and they can get,
I don't think he is.
That's the thing. If he was playing, I'd go with the Dolphins here, but since he's not, it's only going to be Tyreek Hill. I think based on experience and this being Tua's first time in the playoffs, being healthy because he didn't play last year, I think due to experience, I think Kansas City wins because it's at Arrowhead instead of being, in Miami where they should be. Intent. But no, I think Kansas City wins this game, but it'll be pretty close.
Yeah. So he's listed as questionable, but word on the street is that it might be leaning towards like a game time decision. However, I do not believe this is going to be a high scoring game. Do you know why?
Why?
Have you seen the weather report for that game?
No, I have not. What's it like?
It's gonna be cold. And I mean, like, it's going to be bad. Hold on. Hold the phone. Just if you look at the weather for the Chiefs and Dolphins game, it could actually be among one of the coldest NFL games ever. This is per The Athletic. And the wind chill could actually make it feel like it's negative 20. The high is going to be around 10 and the low is going to be negative 8. And I'd like to point out Mike McDaniel, Mr. I wish it were colder, should probably be careful what he wishes for because he's never beaten a team in a game that is below 40 degrees. Wah, wah. But here's the thing, and there's nothing that neutralizes speed like the cold. And say what you will about Miami, they're flashy, they're explosive, but flash doesn't hold up too well in the cold. Let's just be honest. And Miami, though they're talented, they're not a team that's going to out physical you. You know, they're not going to play a tight physical nose to the grindstone game. Kansas City can. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, so they'll just pound the rock. But like I said, you have two speed backs. You have no power backs. You're not going to be able to power your way through teams. So I think that's going to be Kansas City solely because of the weather. Without weather, I would be tilting towards Kansas City. But Miami is a little fraudulent right now as well.
And they're a little injured right now.
Oh, yeah. That defense
Not even a little.
Is a hospital ward. They're going to miss Van Ginkel. They're going to miss Chubb. And I think they're going to miss Phillips as well.
Oh, yeah. Phillips is gone.
Yeah, and I don't even think they're going to have Jerome Baker for that game either. It might be over. So that being said, give me the Chiefs by 10.
Fair enough. Chiefs by 1, 2021.
Perhaps. So we're going to move on to Sunday. Good day for football. And at 1 p.m. sharp, we're going to see the Buffalo Bills host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin, dare I ask what your thoughts are?
Bills by 30. Bills by 30. I alluded to this earlier when we were talking about head coaching vacancies when I said Sean McDermott should be gone if he loses to Pittsburgh. Let's make this very clear. Pittsburgh is lucky to be in the position that they are in. They didn't have to face a Ravens team at full tilt. Jacksonville lost, and that's how they got in. I am so annoyed that they're still here. I am so annoyed at their media team enjoying the fact that they beat us. I'm annoyed that they were celebrating in our locker room that they made the playoffs due to the mistakes of an AFC South team. I need the Bills to beat them by 30. I don't care how it gets done. This needs to happen. The Bills are winning this game. I see this happening no other way. If the Bills lose this game, Coach McDermott needs to get fired in New York. He needs to get fired in Buffalo, New York. I'm done. I don't need any other opinion. I don't need to second guess this. I need that Steelers team destroyed, dismantled. They need to be out the playoffs. There's nothing to talk about.
Now, my friend Justin says he doesn't need a second opinion, but here's one anyway. Not for him, but for you all listening.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to open with the Bills injury report. Bills head coach Sean McDermott has ruled out their wide receiver 2, Gabe Davis, and backup safety Taylor Rapp. So,
Rapp injured.
it's a calf injury, apparently. But it doesn't matter how, because he ain't playing. Next, corner Rasul Douglas and linebacker Tyrell Dodson are also questionable. And left tackle Deion Dawkins and tight end Dawson Knox are apparently hampered with illness, but they should play barring a turn for the worse. So you're out your wide receiver 2, and you're out a really good safety. And, then you've got your starting left tackle, your starting tight end, your corner 2, and one of your better young linebackers that might not play. But I assume the 4 will play because they're going to need an all-hands-on-deck situation.
Yeah.
The Steelers have the power of what seems like cartoon logic on their side. There's always some goofy twist or some real BS that just saves them. I don't know how. I don't know why. It just happens. But at least on paper, the Bills are a better team. And on top of that, the Bills need to strike while the iron's hot. At one point, they were dead in the water, out of the playoff picture, but they stormed back, fought their demons, and got the 2 seed. I just think it's a battle of momentum, and you have Pittsburgh, who's slipping and sliding into the playoffs, versus Buffalo, who's confidently striding into the playoffs. I won't say by 30, but don't be shocked if Buffalo wins, probably to the tune of like 37-13. Actually, yeah, that might be. No, that is Bills by 30. Now, I can see it.
I don't think TJ Watt is playing because of the hyperextension of his knee against the Ravens. I just don't think he's playing.
Oh, yeah. Hold up. No, that's not 30. I'm sorry. I had to do some quick math there. 37-13. Nah. Either way, I still got Pittsburgh. Furthermore, I still have Buffalo. Sorry. Yeah. And if TJ Watt's not playing, then that pretty much removes any chance they're going to win.
Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure he's not playing due to what happened to him against the Ravens, unfortunate as it is.
Well, let me look.
If the Bills mess this up for me, they got the number 2 seed. They should be able to beat the Steelers at home. The Steelers are not a good football team this year. They
By the way,
keep finding ways to win.
I have the injury report.
Yeah.
Head coach Mike Tomlin has announced that TJ did not hyperextend his knee. He has a sprained MCL and is out.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have an injured Joe Burrow, but their season is Jover. So I don't know what to tell you.
The funny thing is the Bengals still finished 9-8. They almost make the playoffs if they just won one or two more games. That's the crazy thing.
And they'd probably be out first round because injuries. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. So we're going to keep this train moving. And we see, what could be a classic. The Green Bay Packers down in Dallas to face the Cowboys.
I got Dallas winning this one. Because there's no reason Dallas should lose to Green Bay. I'm sorry. There's no reason. I don't believe that Dak Prescott should be outplayed by Jordan Love right now. Jordan Love has had a good season this year, all in all, in his first year as a starter. Got his team to the playoffs. Congratulations. But I think Dallas is the overall better team. I believe they're going to show it at AT&T Field. And I believe Dak is going to show why he was a front runner for MVP until the last couple of weeks of the season. And then I believe the Packers just don't have enough weapons to threaten the Cowboys defense that much. I think Market Parsons is going to go off. I don't think they can contain him. And I think it's going to be Cowboys 24, Green Bay 20.
Now, on paper, Dallas should annihilate Green Bay. However,
On paper, yes.
Yeah, I was saying, however, this is on paper. And we've all come to learn that on paper versus what will happen are two very different things.
Yeah.
Green Bay does not have the weapons. They don't have the experience, especially. And if they had Rodgers, I would say this is a toss-up. But I have to lean with the Cowboys. However, would I be shocked if Green Bay upsets them? No. However, I would like to issue a warning.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that if Dallas loses, I don't care how good they were in the regular season, they cannot allow themselves to fall into another Jason Garrett-like situation. So, which is why it is my firm belief that if Dallas loses, Mike McCarthy's going to get fired.
Yep. He can't lose this game. Lose this game.
Which is why I actually don't think he will.
Yeah.
And I would say the Cowboys are likely to win. Probably, we'll call it 27-23.
I think that's a good one. My thing is, I believe he'll make it past this one, but as far as his job security, they should make it at least to the NFC Championship game. If he can't,
they should.
If he can't make it there, then he might get fired, depending on how the divisional round goes.
Yeah. Next up, we got the real homecoming.
The best game.
The Rams in prime time go into the Motor City itself to face the Detroit Lions ever since their quarterback swap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, Justin, what do you think?
To me, this is the headline. This is the main event. This was the matchup I've wanted to see since the playoff rounds were announced, since they were official. I need to see Matthew Stafford in Detroit with the Rams going up against the new and reformed Detroit Lions. I want to see this matchup so badly. I want to see how well Jared Goff will play. I want to see how good Matthew Stafford will play. I want to see how that defense does against Matthew Stafford. I want to see if Jared Goff will rise to the occasion and beat that Rams defense because of the history that they have. There's so much history in this matchup, so much back and forth between this. I want to see it. I want to see who comes out on top. But all in all, since it's at home, I really do believe it's just a coin flip game. I could see this game going either way because the momentum the Rams have been able to procure. I believe since this is at Detroit, I think this gives them the slight nod, which is why I'm picking Detroit to pull this one out. But this is a close game. This is a whoever wins on turnovers is winning this game. This is going to be a battle. I got Detroit 20. I got the Rams 17.
This is going to be a classic.
An instant classic, I feel.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to be a classic. The Rams are getting hot, but Detroit has been righting their wrongs. And I just think the Rams have more star power. They're more experienced. But the Lions, I don't know what it is. They're playing angry. The Lions have a lot to prove. And, even though everyone in Detroit loves Matt Stafford, they want to win themselves.
Yeah.
And Detroit's younger, but they're going to be playing. Like, every hit's going to be a hit stick. Every catch, they're going to come down and they're looking to knock somebody over.
Yep.
Every block, they're looking to pancake. So I actually think we are in for a classic.
Detroit's got something to prove.
Yep. That being said, I think it's going to be a high-scoring shootout. Detroit wins on a last-second field goal, 31-28.
31-28?
Yep. All right. Now, that's it for Sunday, but let's not forget Monday Night Football.
Oh, my. They need this win. Sorry.
The Philadelphia Eagles, long thought to be a shoo-in, to be numero uno in the NFC, are a wild card team, and they are facing the NFC South, aka the Division of Woe champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Justin?
This is the worst thing for the Eagles right now. They should not be a wild card team. Now they have to go on the road to Tampa Bay to face actually an underrated Buccaneers team. And the one thing they don't want to do is face that team in particular, because the back end of that secondary for the Eagles is a mess. Mike Evans might eat them up by himself the way Baker Mayfield throws him the ball. I believe that they'll have plenty of opportunities. I believe the Eagles better straighten up. And if they cannot stop Mike Evans, they're not going to win this game. But all in all, I think that the Eagles will win this game, pull it out in the end, even though it's going to be a mighty struggle on Monday Night Football. Oh no, I believe in Jalen Hurts more than I believe in Baker Mayfield. I think that's what it comes down to, and I think it's going to be. What do I have for a score? 27-24 Eagles.
Ooh. Now, the Eagles, I've heard this comparison before, and I agree. They remind me of what I don't remember the year. Was it the 2020 Steelers? Was that the year they started out 11-0 and then fell apart completely?
Yep. Started off 11-0, finished 12-4.
Yep. Going 1-4 in their last 5 games. That's what they remind me of, because the Eagles were 10-1. They were 10-1, and correct me if I'm wrong, they were 1-5 since there's now the 17-game season. They are 1-5 in their last 6. The wheels are coming off. The seams are splitting. You need a get-right game, and this could be it. But make no mistake, Baker Mayfield might be back. Baker Mayfield might be here. Your secondary has been atrocious, specifically James Bradbury. And on top of that, oh my God, just look at the pass rush. I don't know what it is. They've just been struggling to get to anyone, especially as of late. And when you have someone with the escapability of Mayfield, and he's got toys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin,
a decent O-line,
and an emerging Rachaad White, Philly has more talent. There is no denying that. But can they live up to it? I won't lie to you. I don't think they will. I think this is going to be our first disagreement. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-14.
Really? 23-14. That's an interesting score.
Oh, it sure is. That's why I believe it will happen.
All I'm going to say is, if the Eagles lose this game, Nick Sirianni's fired.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think it's a maybe. I think he's fired. Because
Yeah.
you don't start off 10-1, lose 1 of 5, and then go into the playoffs and then lose the wild card round against a 9-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
Alfred, I think you do get fired.
Yeah, very well could be. We'll see if you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, that does it for the playoff matchups, and that should do it for the episode. Tuck,
Yes,
do you have
it
anything
does.
else to add?
The most important matchups: the 49ers and the Ravens versus the dreaded bye. Oh my God, that's a thriller right there. That's an instant classic.
Mhm.
If
Now,
they
let
can
me tell you
survive
something.
that, they can survive anybody.
Yeah. Let me tell you something though about bye weeks. Tuck, I think you're more right than you realize. Because the bye week, it's all about balance. Because either, you over prepare and you end up exhausted, right? Which has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or with a week off, you get complacent and you come out sluggish. It's all about finding that balance. You don't want to, psych, because that's what a lot of teams do. It's a psychological thing. You don't want to like psych yourself out with preparation, but you also don't want to completely take it easy. But I think both teams should be fine.
I hope so. Hopefully we've learned our lesson in 2019, and that hurt.
I would think so.
I would think so.
Mhm.
We were young then. I think we're more mature now.
Absolutely.
I think we can figure this out.
Yep. But that will do it for us tonight. Thanks for listening to us. We have new episodes out on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have all our episodes available on places like Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and so much more. Also, be sure to follow our Instagram at Fumblerooski Podcast and follow our TikTok, Fumblerooski Pod, to keep up with our podcast and the latest coverage on the NFL. Other than that, for myself and Justin Tucker, we will see you next week. Happy playoffs. Over and out.
See you.